Krishna, please add this to the vote of thanks. Add it in the vote of thanks. This will come up also. Okay. Now that we've all got a copy, by popular demand or anybody else's demand, would anybody else be interested in this book? And should we make more copies? Anybody want to speak for? And anybody want to speak against? Yes? But, Kasturi, if we are going to do another edition, is it for ourselves, for the general public, for sale, or for who? Yes. So, you agree? Okay, proposed by Krishna, seconded by a whole lot of ladies here, and since I'm biased towards the lady, this proposal is on the floor. They suggest, they suggest we do not have another edition of this book. Do you agree? All put your hands up. Thank you. Anybody against? No. Anybody against? Now, point of clarification, Raju.
In the reflections, Bhaktad and I have agreed to transcribe it and make it available on the web for people to edit it so that they can learn from each other. Because many
Thank you, Raju. One more for the vote of thanks. We're going to make a list of all the people. Raju, we're going to thank you for that. But thank you for the offer. No, seriously, thank you. Right? Yes, John. Mine has been autographed by Susie, but not by Sam. Why?
There's a page where there's a call for interview. You're supposed to write your name there. You're supposed to write your group of observers below that. And there's a page where you get that blue certificate of the college. You're supposed to write your name there.
Okay.
And then if you flip the pages, there's a place for the group photograph today. Then you flip some more, there's a place for autographs. You can get everybody to sign it.
So Susie's done some more introduction to the book. If you want other people's autographs, please send it around and collect. If you want those people, the donors who very gratefully, graciously have given us this book, we can ask them.
Phone numbers are wrong. If there are any corrections,
That can be then put on the website for the correct final. We can have you both sitting over there signing autographs of the books you published and distributed. Right, we've got them organized. Okay, we're moving fast before we... Yes? Okay, this is thank you for coming. Here's all the people trying to get money, including me. Okay? Okay, I don't know. Thank you, but now you know who it is and she's outside? Okay. And if anybody would like to leave now and give your money, don't hesitate. But you have to come back for the vote of thanks, huh? Right, third item on the agenda. Another gift we've got is the songbook. A lot of hard work, lovely songs. I wish I had been in Yelagiri to sing them. Some of them bring me back to my childhood, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to talk about my childhood. But a songbook, what should we do with it? Do you think it'll be of value? Yes? No, not just okay. You take the mic and...
Thank you. Okay, when this songbook idea started, actually, there were two components. Where's Susie? Okay, so there's the religious part and there's the rubbish part. So when it actually started on the net and then it became a hard copy. And when that was happening, I was asked to get the old Treva Marshall songbook, which is produced by the Alumni Association. And this would be a kind of a second edition of that. When I went to the alumni office, I realized that's out of print. They do have most of the material on the computer, and the alumni office has been thinking about bringing out a new version of that. They had one copy of the old one for reference. So They also have a lot of songs which people have suggested be added. They're all on bits and pieces of paper. Every time the alumni get together, somebody wants something added. So there are these scraps of paper with words of songs written. I think they just need somebody to pull it all together. And for them, again, the issue is the cost of publication. So as you'll hear on Saturday, there is one school of thought that wants everything only online, including the alumni directory with the addresses and phone numbers, the alumni songbook, and that's the younger generation. And there are people, about half starting in our batch and moving backwards, who want a piece of paper to hold in their hands. So I think a decision will be made on Saturday. And at that time, because I went in and I wanted the old songbook, and then Faliz was supposed to write a foreword to our songbook, so he wanted to know what was in the Treva Marshall version. So I got not the song part of it, not the actual contents, but the dedications, and there were a series of things written about Treva Marshall herself, by people who knew her. Most of which doesn't make sense to any of us because she was not around when we came in. So somewhere along the line, Treva Marshall fell out of the songbook. Right, Susie? It's not the Treva Marshall songbook anymore. At all. So that's right. So the thing is now, yeah. So when I spoke to the Alumni Association office bearers, they are keen that this becomes part of the input into the new songbook, but whether it will be an online version only or a print copy is a decision that will be made on Saturday. So we have to decide whether we're holding on to copyright of this or we want to share it with the other alumni.
Okay. What I suggest is, this is a book for our batch. Now, if the Alumni Association wants to take some of the book songs from here, because these are publicly available songs, except for the ones on Joyce, they are, because we have no copyright on that, but they can put their own book together. Is that all right? Okay? Now, if you're in favor, you will come to the alumni meeting on Saturday and vote for that. Tell it as it is and make sure they don't take. Yes? Dr. Oh. Listen, I will remember it here, and Joyce and I, between us, will control the class. Nobody will question our decision. Okay? The first decision is Vinod's in charge of finances, and Thelma will help him. Under that item, we've taken Faliz Munaz's donation later. Auto Sketch, this book is for us and will not be reprinted. The next item was the songbook. That again, yeah. Thank you for that. And then the songbook, another gift from Simon Susie, again is for us. And if the alumni wants to use it, things that are available in the public arena, they can use and decide how they're going to do it. Is that okay? No, that's for Bhaktaraj. He can volunteer. He's an alumni. Shh. You can't control him. Huh? Okay. Hey, you're in popular demand. All these girls are fine. Now I know why you didn't bring your wife. Okay, next item. I know. Website. 1964 batch will have a website. Faliz and Bhaktaraj will you want to speak on that?
I have some ideas, and I'll pass it by each of you, and we'll let you know details in the near future. Okay.
So, I offer to make available for the 1964 batch a website that is dedicated to us. Faliz and Bhaktaraj will take that forward, and we can contribute in different kinds of way, and other work done by them. Thank you very much for all the work you've done already. Will be done for that. Okay? Now, Faliz Munaz's donation. Would you like to say something about it before we throw it over to the whole hall? Okay, Vinod, you want to explain? Okay. Passing the buck around. Okay, while they're making up their mind who's going to explain it, what is the question? Okay, I think the question, Vinod, is two questions. This donation, is it a donation to the class? And if it's in pounds, are there any liabilities and responsibilities for bringing the money in to India? Am I correct? Sam, that kind of question is in your mind. Could you help us to understand? Because Faliz is not here.
I had a heart-to-heart chat with him this morning because the matter was coming up for discussion. So he said that money is for the reunion because he thought that there would be a deficit, because he thought we were going to a fancy place and a lot of the people may not have money. He wanted to put in that money. But he said if it is going to be used for a project, he wants to be in the discussion. And
I don't think you're talking any project just now yet.
yeah, but he said the money is primarily for the reunion.
And can it be converted into rupees? Because the reunion is in India.
$1,500 have been converted into rupees.
And where are the rupees?
They are with me.
Okay. Is that helpful?
And how much is left of
I
that?
have a question. Do we need
We don't know the deficit situation yet. And maybe after knowing that so much money is available, those of us who are still here on Saturday can go for a really good party. Thanks to Faliz. Serious.
For which we need that money.
What is that?
Can it be just private? Or there is an item that we discussed with Joyce and with Susie and which
So you want to keep it private?
yes, about $500 we need that for
Okay.
particular.
So the main thing is from the point of view of Faliz's donation, the spirit of the purpose for which the donation is gone, since you and Joyce and the organizing committee are managing the reunion, you can decide what in the reunion needs money and spend it accordingly. Is that okay with everybody? Yes, but that is available and tell us on Friday or Sunday how it's going. Because I don't think we can decide unless we have proposals here. Go ahead.
I defer to the three of you making the decision. From the last 3 days, there has been so much underlying distress and discord that I personally have felt some sense of obligation to whoever is giving this money, in this case police. And I would like not to feel obliged to anybody. If we have a shortfall, I would like for us to vote on whether this group wants to make it up, rather than to feel indebted to police. And for police to be frustrated that after he made the donation, we are all doing something contrary to what he might have had in mind.
Meena, I understand your point, but the money has already come and it's in his hand for this donation. But other people have also given donations, if you look at that list, over and above their expenses. So let's us decide that if there's a huge deficit, not necessary to go. Yes, Kasturi?
where that money can be given back to him so that he can give it to some other project or thing? No, I think we should not.
No, I think if you don't mind, you look after that money and you tell us what you're doing with it. Shh, one at a time.
The thing is, rather than feel obliged to police, if we could pay up that $500, that's what you're suggesting. Meena, is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
That
No, she suggested the 1,000 or 500.
$500.
Go back to the genesis of this.
But
Initially, Raju and Joyce and Susie and, this was, it was a time when this was being planned. We thought that some of the people who work in the mission hospital will not be able to attend. Okay? They may not have all this money to be spent by them. Therefore, it was floated, this thought, could there be some kind of a donation put into the kitty to pay for them? Then it became evident that many of them were not coming forward and saying, I need the money. Okay? Therefore, it was embarrassing. By then, police volunteered and opted to pay something like $5,000. Am I right, sir? $5,000?
Joseph, you're right.
Okay, so $5,000 he said, I'm giving for his group. Then, because some of you probably are not aware, and then why only 1,500 is coming now? It's not because he wants to only give 1,500. It was a question of transferring this money.
Yeah.
How is this money going to be transferred? Whose account is this going into? So there was a lot of discussion on that. Okay. So now 1,500 was because we know that to go to Rotterdam, and a friend of Khalid, gave him that equivalent of 1,500. If you ask Khalid today, he's going to transfer you all the $5,000. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, right.
Yes, he's going to transfer all the $5,000. So let us talk in terms of $5,000 here with us, with the core group, and what do you do with that $5,000? Because anybody, I think other than one or two people, everybody has paid their own money. I don't think anybody is there who has to pay the money. Is it, can you?
No, I think let's not go into that if you don't think.
Why is that?
I don't think we should know who has paid their money.
Sir, very strong. You'll be very helpful, because I didn't notice 5,000. Then we go back to Mina's point, then let us not accept any more money to be brought over here. 1,500 has reached India. Even that, Mina says, why do we need it? Am I correct?
There were 4 of us who have in contact on emails, 3 buddies, Vinod and I. And like I said, I came to the planning meeting and realized it's a 6-day reunion. Half of it was to be in a sort of, not Kaisra, but in a very awkward setting, and the rest in Vellore. And I am the one who raised the concern about the expenses. Having done the previous reunions, I felt a 6-day reunion, half of which was in a hill station, would not be affordable for some of our classmates. Particularly now many of us have retired, especially those who have retired after working in mission hospitals. At that point, my concern was to scale down the reunion so that it was affordable to everybody. That point, I think it was Vinod's suggestion that the best way to do this was to write a letter to all the classmates saying, this is a rough estimate of what this is going to cost per person. And we realize there are people who can afford this and more. There are people who can pay their way, and there are people who will need some help. So we don't want to categorize them. So this is what our projected expenditure for this per person. Each of you, please make your contribution according to what is comfortable for you. And we had a sense that it would even out. Isn't that the plan? And that was my first letter which went out, which said, make your pledge, which will be to one of us, and we will see how it works out. In principle, a lot of people wrote and said, great idea. And it was not committed in terms of actual figures, but a lot of people said, me plus 1. I can pay for me plus 1. But the problem was, I didn't want to open a bank account, particularly to receive overseas money because of certain restrictions that we had. Vinod, because he's running an NGO, we also had to see how it could be handled. So there was some reluctance about accepting the donations from the overseas classmates in dollars. Now those who have rupee accounts, we said there would be no problem. So at this point it was that Falis, I think, was the first one who committed a fairly large donation in response to whatever appeal that we made. And because we were dragging our feet on how to receive the money, it was not sent. I think at that point, because I've had several emails from him saying, open the bank account. And I kept writing back saying, it is not that easy to open a bank. Again, we have a lot of regulations, a lot of scrutiny before you can open a new bank account. I didn't want to do it as an individual. And Vinod also was a little hesitant to allow this influx of money into his organization in his existing bank accounts, which are committed to certain other things. Now, while this was going on, as I said, I think about 5. Yeah. Okay, so let me say. Yeah. So I had written to Faliz. I misread his first letter. And I thought he'd made an offer of a donation of $500, which was generous, but which sort of fitted our budget, 500. And I think I was a little slow to acknowledge that, and it was Susie who pointed out to me that there was this generous offer of $5,000 and nobody had the courtesy to send a letter of thanks. And then, of course, when we went back, Vinod and I both had misread it as $500. And when we went back, we saw it was in fact 5,000. And we were both convinced that was a typo. And we thought we should give Faliz the option of withdrawing a zero if that was in fact an error. And when we, so he is committed to $5,000. Yeah. So my advice is, I have asked him repeatedly what was the intention of the donation. Because in one of his earlier mails, he had said, this is primarily for the reunion. If there's an excess of money, it can go into whatever the class decides in terms of a project. If possible, scholarships in the name of our late classmates. Isn't that what you remember, Vinod? Okay. So when that came, my problem, and because I have been involved in organizing the reunion, Susie and Vinod will bear me out. From day one, I have been bleating about the budget. We had no idea of the number. We had no idea of the activities. I had no idea of the expenses. And so I take responsibility for that as well. Today, we have seen there's some idea of the expenses. I have again asked Faliz, and he has said, I have given the committee of 3 of you the discretion.
Here, and then, Vinod, you want to add anything to this? Let's get clarification and find a resolution.
I talked to him today, and I suggested to him that the 1,500 we will use, and the 3,500 we will decide later on by email whether he needs to send it and what we need to do with it.
Can I suggest a way forward? If it's up to you, the last speaker, since you're such a dear friend, what do you want to say?
What I want to say is, Vinod said there's something private that we don't want to discuss. Can we all as a class, if you trust us, make up the deficit of finance? Us first, and then move on. That is very important. Whatever it is, gets in there. And then that is very,
I think she's talking about a deficit that is 500, and I think it's confidential and private. She wants you to make it public. Do you want to make it public?
No.
No. So what is your specific suggestion? Okay. Can I just make 3 proposals from the chair? No. Shh. Let me make 3 proposals. Can I make 3 proposals? First, taking Susie's idea that we trust the steering committee to manage that $500 for something that is confidential, private. We trust them to do it on our behalf. Am I correct? Do you all agree? Okay. They've got it from this. Okay. Now, second proposal, we have $1,500 worth of rupees in India available to you, Vinod, for this reunion. Am I correct? Yes. So we got 1,000. But why? I'm not trying to understand. I've got to.
Let me just point out obviously, there was a loss of money, which was nobody's fault, and we felt that the individual who lost the money should not get that reward, who lost everything basically, and we all feel an obligation to
Help them.
not help that person, and those to restore that loss. So that is different. Whether it should be only to somebody's money and all of us should share it, none of the rest is.
wasn't in Yelagar and I'm trying to catch up with you all. I'm trying to find a quick resolution. Colleagues have given us money for the reunion. And 1,500 is in rupees here. I'm quite comfortable that colleagues also trust this committee, and this committee decides how to look after that money. This committee of Joyce, Vinod, Susie, and who's the fourth person? 3. We trust them. We do not know how many more deficit will come. If there's a further deficit, we will take it from this. If there's a surplus, we will decide what to do with that then. The third proposal is not to ask colleagues for the other part of his 5,000 because we don't need it now and we're not talking about scholarships, projects. Do you all agree with these 3 steps? Thank you, Meena, but I think we'll discuss it at that time. But I think we've got a way forward just now, leaving our committee members and trusting them to carry this forward and authorizing them to spend the money. But if there's going to be a further deficit, to come back to all of us. Quickly, do you all agree before you change your mind? Thank you. No points of order. Oh, yeah. Last item. Oh, yes. Kasturi, I've nearly got this through. Please. Yes. Yes. Yes? Okay, now, on the money matters, are we all okay? Can we sleep well on it tonight? Can we go out to a party and spend the money also? Anyway, no, I'm just joking. Yes. Tell me and I'll look after that. I've got a lot of ideas. Right, can I just come to the last item on the agenda? Oh, you've come back, Krishna. You're going to give the vote of thanks. Yes, right now. Here's the thing, and cover everybody, including me for coming on time. Please, you can all add our vote of thanks after Krishna starts it for us. But I know you said it under email, we took the vote of thanks at the end. Please get the meeting. Can we do it now? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm late starting on my public speaking career, but I want to tell everyone, especially the LEAP, thank you for allowing me to do this. So I would like to tender a vote of thanks to Joyce. Stand up and take a hand. For her absolute composure in the face of dire stress at times. To Susie for coaxing, cajoling, coercing all of us to attend. To Raju for cool and calm, composed, and off the scene at times when he's traveling. No, to Vinod, and to Bhaktaraj for endless patience. And your trials have only just begun. So there's no rest for the weary. So thank you very much, all 4 of you, from all of us. This would not have happened. Well, Sam is Sam. He's going to get his own special.
Sam is privileged.
So, right. So all of this has happened. All of this has happened because of the efforts of all of you. Thank you very much. I have to say thank you to Raju because he has given us amusement, entertainment, kept us going. And I have to say thank you to Sam because Sam has kept Susie in bed for a few hours and ensured she got her night's sleep so that she could then be awake to fight another day. And I have to say thank you to Meena because she's Meena and she makes us laugh and work hard. And for all the stuff she's been doing the last 2 days, which I have not been privy to, but I know about. And to everybody else for showing up, and for Meghanathan for looking like a dish at the age of 70, eye candy, and for everybody else who's been here. And I'm humbled by all the efforts and all the devotion. And thank you all.
Thank Krishna for the vote of thanks.
Well, Dalip, because he allowed me this opportunity, right?
Why not? All right. The things I'll do for a kiss, but anyway. Right, our meeting is over. Any other items? Any other items? Yes. Thank you all. What's next? AOB is finished also. What's next? Organizers. Yes. Police, while you were away, we thank you for your donation. We've given power to some people to use your donation and within the context of the reunion. Thank you very much. You weren't here when that was. When do you want to discuss that? Bring it up now. Okay. But you want to discuss now or you want to have something else?
No, I just want to say what was in Murthy's mind.
Okay, the meeting is formally over. The chair is carried and going away.
So you can see why I chose Dalip to conduct the business meeting. Right. I had said we would put the class project on the agenda, and that was because we hoped Murthy would be here. Unfortunately, as I said this morning, he's unable to be here. Those of you who've been reading the emails will know that Murthy has special concerns, especially after his illness, and he's very passionate about doing something for others at this point in his life, and that was something we all felt very much in sympathy with when we read his mails. And I think there were individual responses saying we would like to help and we'd like to contribute to whatever you have in mind. He has, after his illness, organized a reunion of his old school, and it's a government school in Kollegal, and he has set a target of something like 20 lakhs, I think, for scholarships. And he has been able to raise a substantial amount of that from his old classmates. So I think he had something like that in mind for the college. He was supposed to come here and explain it. Unfortunately, he's not able to do it. So I really want to have something to write back to him, saying, we talked about it, we will continue to look at it, and whether anybody else wants to add anything to this idea. I also would like to say, before Murthy came into the picture, some of the faculty of the college had asked me, as they had asked other representatives of special batches, whether we were interested in a project to set up a skills lab for the students. A skills lab. A skills lab is basically you have mannequins where you can practice invasive and non-invasive procedures. You can also change the biochemistry, you can simulate diabetes or hepatic coma or whatever. They already have one donated by one of our senior classes. They were looking to get another. I did put that on the thread and there was a very, very negative response. And so let's not talk about missed emails or I have a breakdown this minute. So, well, anyway, the fact is it was put up. There was a negative. Where's John? And I think John gave me a sage piece of advice. He said, stop talking about class projects. It's not going to happen. So at that point, I indicated to the person who had asked me that it probably would not be our class, and that project has now been spoken for. It was something like 15 lakhs. So anyway, I checked with a person a couple of days ago, and that has been picked up by one of the other batches. At that point, the feedback that I received was, that's not what the reunion is about. It's about getting together and having a good time or whatever. And I have a vested interest, having been a part of the administration of this institution, so I stepped back from that. So I really would not want to be the one to take this forward. I haven't really found that there must be thousands of things.
But I really often.
Susie and I were talking, some of us were in the chapel.
I think when you go to the Saturday meeting and the principal and the director speak, there will be an outline of what are the projects that are pending. And if you have gone to the blue book, which is in your folders, which I put in there, at the back there will be a summary of ways in which you can support this.
Okay, for those who are not here, the first part of the Skype session with Lily is over. And for some reason, part of Skype session 2 with Kamala and only Kamala. Kamala is over. We still have Arthur, Murthy and Shastri, Jayashri waiting at 5 p.m. There is a cake as I speak on its way with 50 candles. And I don't know what Susie's intention was in getting me to order that, but I'll ask her to tell you.
Big breaths on the candle. Big breaths. Big breaths. Big breaths on the candle.
My friends are also talking here again. Don't write me with corruption. Very petty. First, do we want to do a joint class project? This class is not always good at making decisions together.
Yes.
Even when we decide that, we might have a million days of week. The second is how big the project should be, because getting the money organized, 15 lakhs, 125 lakhs may not be. If you look at page 27 of this book, is a list of the today's priorities for the college's needs. Am I correct? It was given to me by this is today's plan, this is the latest list. Joyce tells me this is the latest list.
Yeah, there's only one per family, so we fast forward. I got only 45. I got only 45 copies today.
Susie, the class project is to give you one gift. I'm not very good at trying to understand the class's intention. Class does not always agree on everything. But if we did agree, how many would seriously want to have a class project for raising money for the college? And
can you make one observation? I have invited the director to lunch. I have, on your behalf, invited the director to lunch tomorrow after. I have invited him for the tree planting and the lunch. He says he will try to be there at lunchtime. I will ask him to give you an update on it.
The update would be the list of the last week, right? And most of them are about 15 lines. We want a smaller project.
look, Susie, the more basic question, and I'm quite open to this, because I know many people have different views. How many of you genuinely want to be involved in, contribute to, and participate in a class organized project, whatever the style? I will find out for and against.
1 minute. You guys are giving me a lot of
Put my hand for what?
This is my family memorial prize. It was an endowment in the year he died. I'm not sure of the source, possibly from his family. And at the moment, it is given as a prize for the best sports person of the year. The outlay on that is the cost of a medal and a certificate, destined enough in the interest account to carry out the 2 years. The second is a scholarship, which the batch started, I think, around 99 reunion. When Molly's not here, that was the reunion where Zach had taken the initiative to write the letter of cause for the reunion. Unfortunately, he passed away before we could meet. At that reunion, we decided that we would endow a prize in his name because he was our best outdoor principal. And at that time, because the course which didn't have a prize was a part we called Final Year Part 1, which at that time was a combination of 4 subjects. And that has been consistently awarded since then. A couple of years ago, I was contacted and told that the corpus was not enough. The interest from that corpus was not enough to continue to give a gold medal and would be interested in making the prize a book. So when I looked at it, it was a couple of thousand short, so I gave that up, and it continues to be a gold medal that's been awarded. As of now, the corpus does not require any talk. The third was a scholarship from Suli's family. She doesn't want me to share that information. I think her family is taking care of that. The reason this came up is I think there was one sentence in one of Farid's emails saying that if there's money left from the donations or contributions to the union, could we look at scholarships in the names of our deceased classmates. That is why I thought when that came up, I knew I would be asked about the existing things in the names of the deceased classmates. This is where we stand. As of now, we can't even decide who of the people can include these for our classmates. I think we need to make that decision and then decide whether you want to do something in their memory. I think it makes sense to do something for students, either in terms of prize. I would not recommend scholarship because at the moment our medical fees, college fees are the lowest in the country and no medical students want to take scholarships because the college rules insist that you sign an obligation for at least 2 years of service. So there are no papers given for the existing scholarships. I don't think it makes sense to put more money to medical student scholarship. There is quite a need for scholarship for nursing and allied research. So this is my personal opinion. You can keep that in mind.
Thank you very much, Mr. Let us first discuss, do we want to give a class project? That's very well. I know, including also some people in this room.
It's in that context.
Yes. Go ahead.
What I would like to say the other day, which I talked about, some of the issues which we raised are related to women and children. And all the time when we look at projects or scholarships and fellowships, we think about structural issues or curative issues. But I think medical education is undergoing a change, and there are issues which are very fundamental to the community. And I think we should take some of those issues, and we as a class should address those issues or focus on those issues, such as women's issues. A doctor or a rural person or a student who has spent time researching on women's issues or as a research paper or something around those issues. If you can find, and 1964 batch institutes a prize or whatever you want to call it around those issues rather than surgery, medicine, eye care, ENT, come on, those days are gone. Let's look at some broader issues of communication, issues which are prime importance to us, that is women, children, and violence.
Identify something. Identify an issue.
Can I check the microphone? No. Just because I have silence in the air, I have the whole class of their friends. I think I must. No, 1 minute. I think let's first discuss, do we want to have a class project? Because there are people, including myself.
Can you call for a vote?
Yes, that's what I said. Because if we want to have a class project, then we can discuss what should it be. But that's first basic question. And I put in my class on the table. I don't believe in a class project, telling conclusion. But I'm a class member, so I want to listen to what other people feel. So let's have people here feel. Who would like to give a donation to the institution, and we can discuss what it is, including all the ideas coming up, relevant to the needs of the country or the institution or students. We can discuss the what for net. How many would like to contribute participate in not a very big but reasonable sized class project? Put your hands up. Now, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Note that down. Who are against? Put your hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, there is a proposal. Okay, who abstained? 4 abstained. Now, that's okay. I think we have to have a consensus, and we need to know what people thought. Now, there is, as your chair, there is a desire by this class reunion to have a class project of a small size, and for a moment, I'm going to ask you all to take, don't come up with too many. Let us have a vote on 2 or 3 of them. So, one suggestion from Joyce is around students, then we can talk more clearly. Another suggestion from Sam, I didn't heard was around issues. Am I correct? And another suggestion, Susie, now you want to make a suggestion? Yes. Different from Sam.
Very good. I think we have to be very practical.
Yeah, I think so.
We have to be very practical. We are coming up to 68, 70.
We are not going to live forever and see this money being used year after year after year after year. Let's buy something that's immovable, give it to the college. We know that it's there. It's a one-time thing. We wanted to give a piano to the chapel because yesterday Gulu had a nightmare. She was trying to practice and she couldn't open the organ. It's dependent on electronics.
Customary for alumni donations to go to the students or the alumni to do with the alumni. Not for anything outside PNC, not for anything for the college or the hospital.
In excellent condition was offered, I offered it to the institution, it accepted. I would have liked to see it in the college chapel, but I was told the organ which is now in the college chapel was also put in there in the memory of somebody which is very dear to the college, that is not going to be changed. The organ that I have, my family has given, is now housed in the chaplaincy office. It's used for choir practices, and at some point I hope it will be transferred into the new College of Nursing campus. Their chapel has been completed. Right now there are some security issues about moving it, but at some point it will go there. So I think while your suggestion is a good one, other batches have replaced the organ and the piano in the auditorium recently. I'm sure there are cases where an instrument can be used, but I don't think we can specify the location where we want it.
Can I just interrupt? First donation, I don't know the location we places.
Raman, private donations. Okay. I swallowed a microphone many years ago. But Raman, your private donations are not for public disclosure. Okay, yes, Krishna.
But my personal feeling is I'm not into memorializing myself with my batch name or batch number. I am more inclined towards a therapeutic effect so that people are cured and benefited by us and our effort. And we don't need to have our name. We can have our name. It can be a one-time thing. We could collect a sum of money. Rita's husband does camps. He takes care of people. There are lots of people. I would like to think of a bunch of children who could be benefited, a bunch of young women who could be benefited, a bunch of old people who have their cataracts removed, and it could be a one-time thing, and it could be the batch of 64. Now, that's my personal feeling, but I think people oftentimes don't think of a one-time attempt. I just wanted to put it out there and see what the take was.
Can I just clarify that one proposal? I'm trying to make these into specific. Are you saying we collect money and we give it a once-off to somebody, but not necessarily Vellore?
It could be someone from Vellore.
You use Rita and other examples.
Yes, well, I was just using an example, but I'm sure there are people from Vellore. I remember that they used to run eye camps. I'm sure there are outreach programs where they go out and treat people. I'm sure they have outreach programs for TB treatment. We could fund a year of TB treatment for 100 patients. We could do repeated camps till the money runs out.